Wild Man here. Excuse me. And welcome to the Wild Man Cave. So, this video is just a talking video, so if you want to exit right here, you can. But I just want to explain what happened last week in finally selling the 390. So, I was totally happy with my 390 up until I saw those two Shercos at Lang's. And I'm like, oh man, because they had a pretty good price on them. And they were both two-strokes. I'm like, oh, I've been kind of looking into getting into a two-stroke, but I don't know. And then I saw those, and then I was like, huh. So I started researching them a little bit. So I almost left Beta for those Shercos. I even brought my wife to Lang's to take a look at them. And then that day, Craig said, hey, just so you know, I got a Beta 250 coming. I think that night, I put my 390 up for sale. So I immediately had a couple bites on Kijiji. I had one guy coming down in like a week, but his bike didn't sell, so he couldn't make it. So those didn't really pan out. 2 or 3 weeks went by, didn't really have any bites. And except this one guy from Niagara, douchebag. The guy's like berating me for the price I'm trying to sell it. He's trying to get me to add $1,000 in parts to it. Anyways, I blocked that guy because he's a douche. But, so check this out. I decided, you saw the previous video, irresponsibly of me, so I thought at the time, was to just buy the 250. So I went to Lang's and I bought it. I made a video of it. I was kind of stressing because at that point I did own 2 bikes. But I actually only owned 2 bikes for like 2 days because last Saturday I went to Lang's to pick up a box. I forgot my helmet there and I forgot my box there. So I went in there, and there happened to be 2 guys in there that were looking at Kevin's 480. Kevin's 480 sold, but Kevin and Craig were kind enough to say, hey, I got a guy who has a 390. And then that's literally when I showed up. Oh, hey, hello, like that wasn't planned. That's literally what happened. That's so strange. Anyway, so I was talking to these guys about the 390, and they decided they were interested. And I said, well, why don't you follow me home and take a look? So they followed me home. They were looking at the 390. And they loved it. And they said, okay, well, can you hold it for me for 2 weeks? Oh, Cat's going to move the... Harvey, don't touch the door. Okay. He said, can you hold it for me for 2 weeks? And I'm like, and then he said, well, how much money do you want for deposit? I said, listen, you don't need to put a deposit down, but if somebody calls me or if somebody else is on their way to look at the bike, I'll call you first. He's like, yeah, no problem. So he left. Literally 10 minutes later, I get a phone call from a guy in Brampton saying, hey, I'm in my truck. I'm coming down to pick the bike up. Give me your address. And I said, whoa. I said, okay, hold on 1 second. Called the original 2 people back that I met at Lang's and said, hey, sorry, but I got a guy on the phone, and he's on his way down, coming from Brampton. So if you want the 390, now you're going to have to put a deposit down. So he's like, okay, no problem. Within 10 minutes, the guy sent a deposit. And for $1,000. So at the time, now I have $1,000 deposit on the 390. So I called the Brampton guy back, and I'm like, hey, sorry, I have a deposit on, so the bike's sold. So so I was a little bit happy. On Saturday, I had 2 guys interested in the bike, so that was totally awesome. And then it sold, obviously, the 1 guy. So on Wednesday, a few days ago, I delivered it to Stratford. So now the 390 is gone. And now I just have the 250. Have a small little problem with the 250. The Bendix seems to be jammed. It's not coming in and out. So no problem. Lang's is taking care of that. The part is on the way. But then once I get the part, it's kind of cold. I might maybe go for a ride this coming weekend, but I'm not sure. So anyways, that's the story. 390's gone. 250's here. And hopefully the 250's here to stay this time. I really don't plan on switching this one up after a year. So, but don't quote me on that. You never know. Thanks for listening. Wild Man out.